Hello, everyone, and welcome to my talk here in the game business. And the title says it all. I'm gonna try to explain a little how we see in how we envision the future of gaming related to the new Bitcoin blockchain features, and is the Microrewards and the tokenization and the new things that are coming up. I mean, this is envisioning the future is something really complicated, and we know that blockchain and Bitcoin is already changing many things, and it's already being used in some other market, not only on the it's not only about exchanges and investing and holding, but it's also about using it as a powerful tool in any online business. So this is how this is the index of what I'm gonna be speaking today. First, I'm gonna be giving a small look of the current platforms in the blockchain in the games. Let's say the blockchain games and its features, what has been so far developed and how it looks. Because even I will explain this why later in this talk. There is already a lot of experiments and experience of using blockchain on gaming, but they are not Bitcoin. And the big thing now is coming with Bitcoin. After that, I will be just doing a small introduction to Bitcoin. I mean, at this stage in 2021, I think most people should know about Bitcoin and its origin and how it's been developed, and also why it's been so valuable as of today. I mean, what has happened over the last 10 months. And also we're thinking about the industry ecosystem, then the new networks that are providing the Bitcoin blockchain, the features that are going to be are being used already and are going to be shaping the digital business in general, and also, of course, the gaming industry. And then I will explain a little more in detail how it can affect the gaming industry, both the micro rewards and tokenization. Before doing this, I just will explain very rapidly. So I will go from the general concept to the detail. So where are we speaking? We speak about asset tokenization. Asset tokenization means being able to integrate into an NFT, which is called a non-fungible token, or basically is inserting into the blockchain database the ownership of an asset or digital assets of any user that uses this blockchain. There is a very rough definition, but this is very general, so everyone can understand it. So this means in gaming, this means that any item or any in-app purchase or any item I get into the game after getting this quest or getting this achievement, it can be tokenized, and it can be limited with a scarcity, meaning that, for example, if we want to sell a skin in a game, a skin of a character or a skin for a weapon, we can issue a limited number of that skin. So limited number and scarcity always increase value. And if we sell, for example, 100 copies of that skin over a universe of users of maybe several thousand of them, or 10 of thousands, or hundreds of thousands, and we assure the customer that skin is not going to be available in the game again, we are giving that skin the highest possible value, because they know that if they purchase it, it won't be again on the same market on sale in 1 month at a 50% discount. So is a value proposition much stronger than we have now. This is, let's say, assets tokenization, and being able to transfer that asset, that skin, to a Bitcoin wallet, right? This is the value proposition. That is tokenizing an asset, right? An asset can be anything that is digital. And then we have the microrewards. Microrewards meaning awarding with micropayments that can be as small as a satoshi. Satoshi is the 100 million of a Bitcoin. Right now it has something like $0.0004. That's the value of a satoshi. We can award the users or buyers or clients or purchasers or whatever with this thing after they do any action that give us some profit or some revenue, right? So I wanted to give this concept clear, because these both concepts are my presentation is going to be evolving about all these both concepts. So you see me checking like this. I have here the other screen, so I'm checking the questions if there are any questions. So this is the current state, more or less. I mean, there might be more platforms, because there has been many some platforms over the last maybe 6-7 years. I mean, over the past 6-7 years, several platforms trying to use asset tokenization platforms based on their own crypto or currencies that evolve from the Ethereum blockchain network. So this is a few examples. Ultra Gaming, this is based on Ethereum. They have their own currency, and it will be launching soon. I just checked the website, so apparently they haven't launched yet, but they look like a pretty professional effort to do this thing, to provide developers and users the option to tokenize the asset and trade them, and use it as an asset that is owned by the player. WAX, which stands by Worldwide Asset Exchange, it has been around for many years. I think it's more than 8 years. And again, they are trying to be the worldwide reference for decentralized marketplace for games. Forte, similar to WAX, but is based on XRP, which is another important cryptocurrency handled by Ripple. Ripple is a company, so it's a private one. And then it's ENG, another ecosystem that is more like do-it-yourself with a lot of tools for the developers. That is not Bitcoin. And then we have CBD, which actually they use the things that I'm going to be explaining today that we in our company as Satoshis Games we are also using, which is the Lightning Network and for micropayments. And then we have Stardust, which they have microrewards and asset, but not in Bitcoin, right? So this is basically how it looks today. And now, after I have explained what is asset tokenization, what is microrewards, and the current state of the blockchain gaming industry, I'm going to move forward to explain a little about the Bitcoin. I mean, as I said at the beginning, I don't think there are many people nowadays that didn't know about Bitcoin, but Bitcoin, it was launched in 2008 in a P2P network, distributed digital ledger, meaning that, well, I will give more information about it later, but everyone shares the ledger, and this is so important for being able to prove that and being auditable and being secure and all this stuff. In 2012, after the currency started to grow, there was a Bitcoin Foundation. I mean, I just need to say that Bitcoin is a digital currency based on cryptography and based on an algorithm that is running by miners, and that are trying to add blocks to the blockchain. So every time they have enough computer power to solve the algorithm, they add a new block, and then the blocks from the currency. And then, I mean, Bitcoin was growing over the years, but Bitcoin as a currency, because of how it's designed and how strong it is in terms of security. It has a big problem with both scalability. Bitcoin couldn't have more than 6 transactions per second, and that's a big problem because any bank is probably managing hundreds of thousands of transactions per second in payment. So that was a big problem for. Actually, I remember purchasing games in Steam back in 2017 or maybe earlier. I think it was in 17 when they put up there the ability to pay with Bitcoin and taking very long for the transaction to confirm and to get my game. Sometimes it took like 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes. So it was complicated. And also, I must say that probably those games I purchased there are the most expensive ever because they are probably worth now 100 times their value in terms of what I paid. Well, anyway, that's part of what it needs to be done in order to make this market growth. So because of that, the community of Bitcoin, they created this segregated witness, SegWit. It's a soft fork, meaning it's a small update on the blockchain to bring up the Lightning Network. I wrote there Lightning, I'm sorry for that, it's Lightning Network. Which was really needed for massive adoption of the Bitcoin because it needs to process, as I said, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of transactions per second in order to be widely accepted and adopted. So the Lightning Network came there, and then just as a small note on why it is this valuable right now. One of the reasons is the supply. There are more reasons, especially is the confidence. Any fiat currency nowadays, this is a question of more of microeconomics and academics and scholars. I don't even agree about this, but more or less after listening to them, we can all agree on that right now fiat currencies, which means a dollar, euro, and rest of currencies being handled by the countries, governments, and central banks. All they have behind them is that we trust those countries in their capacity to tax their citizens and to pay their debt. That is basically why US dollar or the euro or the pound they are worth what they are worth. And so right now behind Bitcoin, there are also millions of people putting their assets on it, putting their investment on it, and they have the same confidence. So basically it's that. Before in the early 70s, there was this Bretton Woods thing that removed the gold standard from the currencies. So this is why the only thing the fiat currencies are now being backed by is the confidence of the people in the country, which is really strong. What gives you more confidence, the US as a country or the Bitcoin as a currency because they have million? Well, probably many people nowadays would say the US, of course. But this is something that may change in the future. And so it's a very important thing about Bitcoin, and this is I want us to speak more about the Bitcoin is how decentralized is it, meaning that there is nobody actually controlling it, and at the same time people say that this is one of its strengths. For me, it's also a form of weakness, only because of political things. A decentralized currency has always been backed by the more, let's say, Austrian economics school, and that is something that is not really followed today. Nowadays, more economics schools are being followed. But anyway, as I said, Bitcoin is decentralized. They don't have a central authority. There is no central server. The Bitcoin network is peer-to-peer, so there is no way to cut it. Even if you cut the internet, nowadays it cannot be cut because there is already nodes running on satellites. So even if someone decides to cut the internet, to cut the Bitcoin, it won't happen because there are several nodes already running in satellites independent from the internet. They will have to hunt down those satellites as well. That can be done as well for enough money, right? But anyway, as I said, the ledger is public. Anybody can store it on their computer. This is very important. So it's like a bookkeeping worldwide for the currency. There is no single administrator. Anybody can become a miner. And being a miner means you also are, let's say, part of like a referee on the network. The additions to the ledger are maintained through competition. Until a new block is added to the ledger, it's not known which miner will create the block, meaning whoever resolves the algorithm first get the prize. Well, there is a few more things, but I wanted to make sure because the big difference between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is this complete decentralization. As I said, others are partially controlled by companies or partially controlled by governments, like the new digital currencies for the euro, or there's also an experiment for the US dollar, and other countries are already trying to do this because they are seeing the potential in the technology, of course, especially related to financial cost and similar things for companies. But they are not as attractive as Bitcoin. I mean, it's a worldwide currency, not controlled by any government. And so, well, let's look at the industry, and this is where this is starting to apply more to business, to gaming. We have several actors in the industry. We have the information ones, who is like a blockchain, Bitcoin Optech, BitNose, Bitcoin Visuals. These are companies related to information about they just make reports and about how the Bitcoin blockchain is performing and all the new additions to it in terms of users, new features, new applications, etc. Then we have nodes, of course, the blockchain network needs nodes. Then we have this development companies. One of them, is Blockstream, ZeroNet, Lightning, CipherMode. They are all companies, very strong companies that are developing applications over the blockchain, especially over Segwit, which I mentioned. I will talk about that later, which is actually this soft fork. I already said about this. It's this soft fork that allow the Bitcoin to be scalable, and this is allowing many more features, right? But right now we have the Lightning Network, and that will be more. And of course, custody. We have also local Bitcoins. We have for trading system, privacy, and mining payments. This is advanced. When you hear about Bitcoin being a bubble and not being practical, not being there are not enough projects to adopt it, there is no use cases. Well, you just can just show them this small chart, and there will be more. So I need to share. Some examples of the adoption because it's pretty important. So I hope this will work. Right. So we're here. I don't know. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this is just a few examples. As I said, this is for people like me who, I've been in the gaming industry for many years already. As a player from the early 80s and as a professional from late 90s. But also I was also working on e-commerce for a very long time. At the same time, I was working on gaming industries. and I was able to see to how both markets were related, how many of the experiences users in one market will filter to another market or another industry, because gaming has so much of e-commerce, especially when free-to-play games came to the market and item shop became available for users, and one of the things that I think it came from the e-commerce. I mean, I'm not sure about this because this is, I think, just it's my opinion. But I think, loyalty systems or loyalty programs like travel accounts for airlines or point systems, cards for food stores or for other kind of stores, they've been around for many years. Just industries or companies giving a small share of the revenue back to the users in terms of loyalty, 1%, 2%, 3%. Credit cards is almost present in every industry or have been present. Well, those points converted to soft currency in free-to-play games. That is more or less how I perceive it. I remember watching this in Runes of Magic back in 2008 or 2009, 2010, when they implemented this. And I'm talking about a PC game, not even mobile games. I remember watching this token shop that people were purchasing with the hard currency, purchasing with diamonds, purchasing diamonds, and then spending the diamonds on the item shop, and then getting some tokens back for the token shop. For me, you made the numbers. It was, players could purchase some small items, not really powerful, but it was a way of rewarding, right, the users for spending money. Well, it was already present on e-commerce, and now what we are seeing now with Bitcoin is that there is already some initiative in Bitcoin that I'm 100% sure that will be migrated to games sooner or later. For example, we have this one is fold up card. This is just a card, right, that earn Bitcoin on everything. Is backed by Visa. Basically, as I understand it, is every time you purchase, you spin the wheel and can get some of the things. And among these things, there is a Bitcoin bonus. You can win up even a full Bitcoin. You can get a 2% boost. Well, we know this kind of thing, but Bitcoin is already here. This is now 100% Bitcoin. Then we have Lolly. This is a classical point system for purchasing things in shops. Currently only works on the US, and Lolly gives you free Bitcoin or cash when you shop at over 1,000 top stores. It's basically they give you your cash back. Cash back in form of Bitcoin, in form of Satoshi. You spend $100, you will get maybe $1 or maybe half a dollar. Half a dollar is about, I'm not sure, maybe it's about 10,000 Satoshis, right? As I said, the 100 millionth part of the Bitcoin. Just let's think this is not Satoshi and this is gold. You are being given back gold without any transaction fee, without any financial cost. It's a good way of rewarding your customer. You're giving them something valuable that is increasing its value, and you give it directly with no logistics, automatic through the blockchain to their account, and then they can withdraw to a wallet, right? This is how it works. Value proposition is really, really high, right? Open Bazaar is another one. It's a platform where people can sell and trade lots of different things, and no platform fee, no monthly fees, and this is all paid with crypto, including Bitcoin. Pors, how it works. On Pors, when you name your own discount, it is fulfilled by earners, individuals who wish to exchange their Amazon gift cards for your cryptocurrency. As a shopper, you can reach a deeper discount by trading delivery speed for saving. So people who has gift cards, the price, you get it a little cheaper, so you get a discount for your Bitcoin, right? So more and more of these things are being added. to the industry, and we will be seeing many more in the near future, because as I said, in terms of what is being traditionally called membership marketing or loyalty marketing and all this kind of collective marketing, it provides a lot of value for customers. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in over a few years' time we are seeing that airlines are giving back satoshis to you rather than giving you miles. May happen. Anyway, I'm going back to share my presentation. Right. There you go. Finish there. Thank you. Right. So this is. So that is exactly, I mean, how I see it right now. I mean, as I said before, first we saw a lot of actions in e-commerce. Then it moved to gaming. We are seeing new things on e-commerce. Will they move to gaming? Well, it's very probable. Because I think micro-rewards in Bitcoin has, micro-rewards and micro-payments has a lot of potential in terms of savings and in many more things. But I will explain more in detail later. So the Lightning Network. Lightning Network is a layer 2 payment protocol that operates on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. I mean, this was brought by Segwit, this soft fork on the blockchain. Solution of the scalability problem in Bitcoin, enables 10 payments, free anonymity. Is basically how it works is when two points of the peer-to-peer, two peers want to trade in the Bitcoin blockchain, they basically commit an open channel, a direct channel in the Lightning Network, and they trade there. So any transaction there are not stored on the blockchain. It is only settled and stored when one of the peers drops the channel, right? So this is how it works. Meaning that anything that happens there is completely anonymous and it's 100% secure. Right? And this provides the scalability to having hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. And in history, Joseph Poon and Tadeusz Drija published a draft on the white paper in 2015. And in 2017, the community activated it. And then there was this Hold On Out, which is a personality in Twitter. It started like a mini game, Lightning Torch, and they were passing the Lightning Torch from one to another, Jack Dorsey and Lisa Stark and many other people. And they finalized with having like 4 million Satoshi, and with just 4 million they were given to some company that promotes Bitcoin. Feature. So, as I say, it's allows participants to transfer Bitcoin, and it has a lot of benefits in terms of vulnerability, privacy, and speed. Settlements are done almost instantly. And then I'm going to talk about the Liquid Network. This is the network that is being used for storing assets into it's a sidechain. That is also using the Segwit soft fork and update on the Bitcoin blockchain. And what it allows is the asset tokenization, assist trading, and it has its own cryptocurrency, LBTC, one-to-one backed by Bitcoin. And on top of being able to store assets, it has a lot of features related to instant payments, more security, and secret transactions. So these are after we have seen all this, we have seen how the Bitcoin industry has been working for many years. How cryptocurrency industry have already been implemented for some years in the gaming industry, and how now we have the option in Bitcoin of doing this, because and this is not only with crypto you're using, because some professionals or experts think this one is better than the other one. It's a question of perception of the general public, is our users. I mean, we know that I don't know what is the actual percentage, but what percentage of the population is play games. I don't know, worldwide population. It is a 40%. It is a 50%. So in generally, people perceive Bitcoin as the most valuable cryptocurrency, and right now everyone wants. I mean, most people I know, they would love to have invested a few years ago some couple of $1,000s in or euros in Bitcoin. On top of that, I mean, many people knows about it. I mean, there is a lot of noise, of course, as always. There's a lot of people that thinks it's a bubble. Might be a bubble because the market still is very small. It's just reached $1 trillion. I mean, a trillion for English-speaking measures. I mean, in other countries, for us, it's a billion. A million of millions of dollars. It's a very small market still. Gold market is 10 times bigger, and there has been already problems. We have heard news about big funds or big banks that apparently has been pledging with the prices. So the price still has to. I mean, there is still a lot of room for the Bitcoin currency to grow in value, and it needs actually. But I mean, we know right now that most people perceive Bitcoin as the most valuable, and it's already perceived almost as gold. And so I mean, but I'm not here to say invest here, invest there. That's even I don't think it's an investment. Investment is this is more speculation, right? But I was listening to there is someone who said the problem is not investing in Bitcoin because it's a bubble. The problem you're going to have in a few years is not being exposed to Bitcoin, right? Well, anyway, let's focus on the games. So gaming industry, right now, I mean, and we are talking here about what the Lightning Network provides. Lightning Network provides many things. If you are knowledge, you have enough knowledge to dig into the API and integrate it with your games, or using third-party service. I will speak about that later. But games right now can hold a Bitcoin wallet. It might not be an actual wallet into the Bitcoin blockchain. It will be a wallet into the Lightning Network, or more a balance in your database, right? But a game can have a wallet related to the game into the Bitcoin blockchain, and use the Bitcoin in his wallet to award their users with microrewards. And each user account can be one of these wallets. So why is good? Why is good for this? Is just a few ways, because as I said, this is maybe just a small fraction of can be done. I mean, for in games with Bitcoin and with microrewards. Microrewards, I think, is going to be a revolution in many aspects in many digital markets. And me, that I'm working with this daily, I'm not even sure of its potential. So I'm sure that will be coming. There will be more people coming that will find more case uses for this. But anyway, benefits for publishers or developers is convenience, so higher liquidity due to direct instant payments from the users and lower self cash from distributors. That's in case you need to go to distributors. Just in case you can have a different payment system that the distributor force you to have. But the high liquidity is there is no reason to negate that. Once you got Bitcoin as a form of payment into your game, the transfer are instant, there is no financial cost, and right now Bitcoin is the most liquid asset in the markets right now. There is also instant payments, as I said, and of course there is lower sales cut. Right now, using the Lightning Network, the commissions and fees are so small. We are talking about dollars for transferring millions, right? Or cents for transferring thousands. We're talking about this kind of numbers. Loyalty. rewarding user with satoshis instead of soft currency when achieving games goals, using for it a small percentage of the revenue, increase LTV, engagement, rotation and playtime, meaning that this is rather than giving the users diamonds, emeralds for achieving this quest 1, quest 2, quest 3, level 1, level 2, level 3, just give them some satoshis, put your in-app item store in satoshis and give them the satoshis to them and see what happens. They're going to be farming 24/7 the satoshis. They're going to be playing again and again and again. Why? Because now they have a reason to play on top of having fun, or on top of managing their managing the, I don't know how to say this, but how engaged they are to the game, right? So this is already happening, and we are seeing there are already some games in the Google Play Store that lets you earn Bitcoin while playing, and we are seeing that they are basically, what they can do is just watch some ads or offer walls, or maybe play some game and gain some crypto. So why is this happening? As I said, because now users have a real meaning for playing. We have already some experience with one of our games, and this is already happening. It's already happening that players connect every day to do their quests, so they get their satoshis, they get their Bitcoin, and then they use this Bitcoin to purchase into the store, and then they swap the assets to another users. That is already happening. The KPIs we are seeing are absolutely amazing. It's like, as I said, imagine that you rather giving your users soft currency, emeralds or whatever, or diamonds in your game, just giving some small piece of gold. Do you think they would play? Well, of course. Bitcoin is the same thing. And the RPUs increase. If we have options to award your non-paying players with some soft currency in terms of video ads or things like that, rewarded video ads. Just imagine that you are giving them a part of what you earn in satoshis. I don't know if for a $10 CPM video reward. Each video it would be like 1 cent of a dollar, right? One video. So 1 cent of a dollar is something like a few hundred satoshis. So you could award your user with 200 satoshis. What's better for the user, 200 satoshis or somewhere else? And they can take that, they can withdraw that to a Bitcoin wallet. So it's pure value what you're offering. And then for players, it's freedom to use their Bitcoin rewards obtained in the game. This is loyalty, because I'm getting Bitcoin from this developer, and value. And the value, all this playtime, these years or months or weeks of playtime in any game converted to money, right? This is how the players will perceive it. And then Liquid Network assets tokenization in games. We already spoken about Microrewards, then we have the assets tokenization. As I said at the beginning, this means any single item into the game can be tokenized, can be stored into the blockchain and give it an ownership from a user, right? Anything they buy or anything they get in a quest, or just by killing a big monster in a raid dungeon or whatever. So just to resume this, what are the benefits for developers or publishers? In a purchases, you can issue a limited number of in-game gear and control its scarcity, generating a secondary P2P market. As I said before, you can put this skin on sale this week, 200 copies, no more, at this price, and they can then users can resell later on a decentralized market. and developer and publisher will get a share. And if the user that purchases resell it again, you always get a share. So it's like a secondary revenue source, and it's giving more value to the assets because they have there is a scarcity on it, and there is a listing number on it, and there won't be more produced, right? Security. Tokenized items cannot be duped. And that is something that, because of the scarcity, we can check into the blockchain. We all know people who have been already, who have been running games in publishers for many years, especially in games as a service or online games, MMORPGs, shooters, and all these kind of games. We all know about how strong the black market or the secondary markets has been over the years, and how a big pain for developers or publishers is to control that, because all the problems it creates problems with scams, with account thefts, and with many others, right? Well, the good thing about this is it's tokenizing assets and letting users to resell them in a secondary market. It creates a market where players can purchase safely from other players, and they don't have to sell their items to a scammer or things like that. For me, that I've been working on game publishers for many years, in the customer service and support side, this has been always a nightmare, right? Not only free to play, and in-game gear can be traded and tokenized, even for premium single-player games. There will be always systems of players playing single-player games. They can tokenize their asset and sell it to another player playing the same games. I'm sure someone will come up with the mechanics for this. And a strategy also, position themselves within the new money economy, offer better deal to users. And when we say this seriously, because nowadays, 2020 and 21, you can resell almost anything you buy, and there is apps for vertical markets for almost anything, from video games and consoles to clothes, or anything you can resell, right? Anything. And people many times purchase things because they know they can resell them later. But that happens on almost any market, but in games or on some digital markets, let's say. So once they know they can resell, they will buy more. They will purchase more. The revenue will increase. And we are seeing this already in one of our games, that we are doing this already. And for gamers, the benefits are freedom, because they can use their in-game gear and purchase, give it to other users and trade it or store it. As I said, what we can do right now is we can withdraw any asset from the game, and from the blockchain and from the game, and put it into a Bitcoin wallet. And the user can have in the Bitcoin wallet their satoshis, their Bitcoin, and their assets. Their value accumulated through the years. I remember back in 2006, 2007, when I left World of Warcraft after playing so hardcore, I had like 20 or 25 epic items. I have no idea how it is now. And the same has happened on almost every game. When you leave the game, all your effort is there and it's worthless. Now there would be an option for users to trade those items, to trade them in another form, and to sell it to other users, even for other games. As long as these assets are tokenized into the blockchain, they could be traded. Control of this, because there will be a real control of what they purchase. If they buy this skin for $50, because it's really expensive, but it's unique, and I can prove it because there is a scarcity, and I can check it on the blockchain with the blockchain explorer, right? There is an opportunity for the user to have something really exclusive, and also for the developer to sell it to them. And security. So once the items are transferred or withdrawn to a Bitcoin wallet, these items become impossible to be removed or or being stolen from the game's user account. So this is how we are doing it. We have a game. It's a shooter. The game is Light Night, and we have. I mean, the game is already in alpha. It's only in alpha, but we still have some. We already have some backers, and they are a few thousand of them, and they are able to explore the site. I mean, to explore the blockchain on all the items they are purchasing, and we are experimenting already that the KPIs are really good in terms of retention, in terms of sales. And we don't have the market ready yet for them, but they are already swapping the skins and the items on the Discord channel. So, well, users are way more advanced than our technology already. And then we are also preparing Elixir, which is a platform with an API, as I said before, where any developer or publisher will be able to use this not only in our platform, but also outside of the platform for themselves. They will be able to do micro rewards on the Lightning Network just with a very simple API calls, and also publish their games and using asset tokenization, using a market. I mean, we are probably the first ones doing this with everything together in Bitcoin. There will be many more over the next couple of years. This is a technology that is here to stay, and the massive adoption of Bitcoin is just behind the corner. So, yeah, we have a small high advance, but I'm just saying this is going to be affecting everyone, because all these technologies are going to be affecting all e-commerce and digital economy. Sooner or later, it will come to gaming. We are aware that big publishers or developers, they probably won't like this, because they say, well, we're going to be losing revenue if we cannot sell like things. If we cannot sell 1 billion times the same skin with discount or with changing the colors, well, that can happen. But I remember in 2008, 2009, I was working with GameMaster.com, and they were bringing to Europe Cabal Online. That was the first free-to-play game, MMORPG on the market. And I remember everyone was saying, I mean, how can you bring a free-to-play MMORPG to Europe? It's impossible. That will never work. That will never work. Free-to-play games, MMORPG, MMO online, impossible. Nobody will purchase that. Everybody will pay for free. Well, we know what happened over the last 15 years, right? So anyway, maybe it's not the best example, but we have to be very humble about this. But we believe really on this. And this is also how the market will look. With the user will have their own wallet, with their Bitcoins, with their assets, everything tokenized on the Bitcoin network. I said the biggest value here is Bitcoin, because this can be done in other cryptocurrencies already, in Ethereum and its communities, but it's the time for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin right now is $46,000 each Bitcoin, and there is nothing more attractive for users, for markets, that value. So this is our vision, and thank you for being there. And this is basically what I had to say is our technologies. Thank you. I don't know if there are any questions.
Hey, Alfredo. Yeah, there's a couple of questions here. Let me read some off. From CG Anderson on YouTube. Thank you for the presentation. Forgive me, I missed the first part, so you may have already covered this. Do you have any examples of how to incorporate Bitcoin usage, i.e. code and server needs?
Yeah, well, actually, in the last part of the presentation, I was speaking about our API that will be available soon. There is also CBD. It's also in the initial part of the presentation. And CBD is already doing competitions in Counter-Strike. They put a small pot on satoshis. This is a small part of the Bitcoin, and they just compete for it. Right now, available APIs, I think it's only CBD and our API, so you can work on these Microrewards.
That's excellent. We have another one here from Elias on YouTube. Maybe the gaming industry could benefit from NFT whenever they will have to make a Kickstarter campaign. Maybe a new way for small studios to find funds for their projects. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's like an ICO. I think, yeah. I mean, it's Kickstarter, but rather than giving early access or Founders Pack plus a meeting with the developer, a meeting with the product manager, a meeting with this, as we have seen already, would be a good way of just putting these assets on the liquid sidechain and just selling them from there. It's like tokenizing equity, but this is tokenizing assets for a Kickstarter campaign. And I think this is pretty interesting because Kickstarter campaign, at the end of the day, you have to trust that there is trust everywhere on these things. Kickstarter campaign, you put your money there and you wait for the company to send the stuff to you. If you purchase a token, you have the token already in your wallet, so you will be able to resell it later, or just convert it to whatever it is physically. So yeah, I think it's very good. Actually, there is already. This is like, as I said, this is like tokenizing equity. Dan, I think you're mute. You're mute.
There we go. I'm muted. I am the famous for muting myself. All right, I'm going to drop a hard question right here. What is the downside of Bitcoin?
What is the
downside? What's bad about Bitcoin?
What is bad about Bitcoin? Well, I mean, I think potentially Bitcoin as a currency, it may encounter many problems in the future. The problem right now with Bitcoin, it has become so huge in terms of industry, in terms of people involved, in terms of money involved, in terms of investment. So if you asked me this question 5 or maybe 7 years ago, I would have been able to answer it properly. But right now it's so difficult. I think what I mentioned at the beginning, that I mean, and this is more a political thing. Right now, at least in the Western world, where we have probably we have two way of thinking politically, and one way of thinking in terms of economics is more based on Keynes, on Keynesianism, and the other is more on the Austrian school, which is more being, let's say, the liberal economic part. Is not liberal as Americans understand it, which is liberal in Europe and America is a little different, the concept, but liberal in terms of economics. So Keynes against liberals, and let's say that Bitcoin is more focused on the neoliberalism. I mean, how to say this? There were already Austrians school economists who were speaking about a decentralized currency back 20 or 30 years ago. They were talking about taking the power out of the central banks to issue currency, because issuing currency is how you control everything in the industry, in the societies. So I think Bitcoin is empowering the Austrian school of economics. So the downside of it is going to be when people start accusing of being in the very right wing or to people who use Bitcoin. I'm not sure if I'm being able to explain myself very properly, because, as I said, even vocabulary is different in Europe and the US, and it's complicated to express this properly. But I think it's going to be more political than that something related to security or development or API is going to be political, and it's going to be where Nigeria just banned cryptocurrencies just a couple of weeks ago, 1 week ago, because people there, we have to take into account that 80% of the world population lives in countries where currencies, they have hyperinflation. Hyperinflation means that the $1,000 you get as a salary in the day one of the month, they are worth $500 by the end of the month, or maybe less, or maybe a little more. I don't know, but they lose a lot of value. So many people in many countries in Latin America or Africa or Middle East or Southeast Asia, many countries like this, there are people even in Eastern European countries. People is using Bitcoin as a way of securing the value of their salaries, of their savings, because if a hyperinflation destroy it, this is one of the reasons. And Nigeria just banned because most people were doing this. People were getting their salaries and putting into the Bitcoin. So banks were running out of liquidity because banks could not secure the value of the savings. So there is a lot of political things for this that are going to be happening over the years. And Bitcoin, it has a big risk, which is replacing local currencies in many countries. And I don't think local governments are going to like this, or even the UN is going to like this. So that's probably the problem with it.
That is super interesting. I was also reading that traditional banks are looking at the idea of using blockchain to speed up transactions.
Yeah.
So that's super interesting. All right, we have time for one more question. Another one from Ilyas. He says, do you think only Bitcoin could do the job? There's also Ether, for example. So why are you focused on Bitcoin as opposed to other cryptocurrencies?
Well, because me personally, I believe more on Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin right now, you just speak to any cryptocurrency exchange workers, they tell you that probably 95% of their business is based on Bitcoin. People trust Bitcoin for many reasons, starting because how decentralized it is and how secure it is. And it's my personal bet as well. I think Ether on Ethereum is really good as well. It has good value, has grown a lot over the last also 12 months, but it has a problem with scalability. They said it themselves, and they are going to be trying now again with another new update on the blockchain. It may work, but it's a completely different concept. Not completely because we're all in the same industry, but it's a little different. And I'm focused on Bitcoin because of the value, because tokenizing assets is important. And it's going to be a step forward, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not as important as Microrewards. The potential of changing your soft currency for Bitcoin satoshis is just, the potential for that is just unbelievable. And as I said, we have not even still figured out how it's going to affect our market. It's going to be huge. And Ether or Ethereum doesn't have that potential yet because it hasn't the value. So that's what I think. I think it's a personal bet. I think maybe 90% of the business of the exchanges right now are based on Bitcoin. So it's where the money is. And the asset needs to be valuable in order to be able to be tradable. So it's a pretty basic economic concept, I think.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for doing this talk. Could you do me a favor and send me your presentation, I guess on Discord or whatever via email?
Yeah.
Because we're going to make this available to everyone that has signed up for the free lectures at indiegame.business. You have to sign up there or else you're not going to get an email with the free lectures or with the presentations. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you big time. What we have next here is Maximilian Seberg with finding the right method of funding your game. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye to everyone.